You're refreshing your brokerage account for the 15th time today, watching a flashing red P&L that feels less like a financial statement and more like a heartbeat. You didn't enter this trade because of a technical breakout or a fundamental shift. You entered it because a guy on Discord with a neon-colored avatar said it was literally free money. This is level 1, the gambler. At this stage, your life isn't about trading, it's about the chase. Your mind is a chaotic battlefield of FOMO and revenge. When the price moves up, you feel like a genius, already calculating the price of the Tesla you're going to buy. When it moves down, you feel a physical pit in your stomach, yet you refuse to sell because it's not a loss until you realize it. This is the hallmark of the gambler. You are emotionally tied to every tick of the candle. You don't have a strategy, you have a hope. You view the market as a casino that owes you a win, and every time you lose, you double down to get it back. Your physical setup is a mess of contradictions. You're likely trading on a cracked smartphone screen or a single laptop while sitting on your bed. Your charts are cluttered with 20 different indicators you don't actually understand: RSI, MACD, Bollinger Bands, and Ichimoku clouds, all layered on top of each other until you can't even see the price action. You think more stuff on the screen equals more professional results. In reality, you're just looking for any flashing light that tells you to click buy. You have no edge, only noise. At level 1, your account balance is a leaking bucket. You deposit $500, trade it with 50-to-1 leverage, and watch it vanish in 48 hours. You don't understand position sizing. To you, risk management means hoping the stop loss you didn't set won't be necessary. You're trading with rent money, or savings you can't afford to lose, which only heightens the emotional stakes. Your wins are accidental, and your losses are inevitable. You are the liquidity that level 4 and 5 traders use to fund their mansions. Your lifestyle is dictated by the opening bell. You wake up in a panic, checking pre-market prices before you even brush your teeth. During your 9-to-5 job, you're hiding your phone under the desk, trying to scalp options during a meeting. You're irritable, distracted, and constantly checking your phone at dinner with friends. Your mood for the entire day depends on whether the 5-minute chart is green or red. You aren't living. You are obsessively monitoring a digital number that you have zero control over. Your habits are built on a foundation of shortcut culture. You spend hours scrolling through Twitter and Reddit looking for signals or alerts. You never keep a journal. If someone asked you why you took a trade, your honest answer would be, I had a feeling. You skip the boring work, the backtesting, the risk modeling, the psychology books, and go straight to the get-rich-quick tutorials. You sleep poorly. You eat fast food while staring at the 1-minute chart. And you constantly lie to your spouse or parents about how much money you've actually lost. Deep down, your identity is the pretender. You tell people you're a trader or an investor, but in your heart, you know you're just a player at the table. You wear the identity like a costume, hoping that if you look the part enough, the market will eventually reward you. You are seeking external validation through a big win that will prove everyone wrong. You don't realize yet that the market doesn't care about your story, your needs, or your ego. Your confidence is entirely performance-based. When you're up $200, you feel like the wolf of Wall Street. You start giving financial advice to your friends and thinking about quitting your job. But the moment you hit a $300 loss, your confidence shatters into 1,000 pieces. You fall into a deep depression, questioning your intelligence and your worth. This false confidence is your greatest enemy because it prevents you from seeing the truth. You aren't trading the market, you're trading your own delusions. To move to level 2, you have to kill the gambler. And for most people, that only happens when the account hits 0 for the very last time. The gambler didn't just lose money, they lost their ego. But you've survived the first blowing of an account, and instead of walking away, you've made a dangerous, life-changing decision. You've decided to get serious. Welcome to level 2, the learner. This is the most dangerous phase of the journey because it is the valley of latent potential. You are working harder than you've ever worked in your life, but your P&L doesn't show it yet. In fact, you're likely losing money more slowly than before, which feels like a different kind of torture. Your brain is a chaotic library of conflicting theories. One YouTuber tells you to trade supply and demand. Another tells you price action is king. A third says if you aren't using institutional order flow, you're exit liquidity. Your psychology has shifted from hope to obsession. You are terrified of missing a detail. You've traded the high of the gamble for the anxiety of the perfectionist. You're looking for the holy grail, that one indicator combination or secret strategy that will finally unlock the door. You haven't realized yet that the market isn't a math problem to be solved. It's a mirror reflecting your own lack of discipline. The single laptop or cracked phone screen is gone. You've invested in a multi-monitor setup because you've convinced yourself that if you can just see more time frames at once, you'll see the truth. Your charts are a work of abstract art. You have Fibonacci retracements overlapping with volume profiles, and 3 different oscillators at the bottom of the screen. You spend 4 hours charting before the market even opens, drawing lines that you'll probably ignore the moment a candle moves fast. You have all the gear, but you still don't have a plan. In level 1, you lost money in giant, explosive chunks. In level 2, you are losing money through paper cuts. You've learned about stop losses, but you move them because you believe the trade will turn around. You're paying more in commissions and platform fees than you're making in profits. You treat your trading account like a tuition payment to the University of Wall Street. You aren't rich yet, but you've stopped being broke. You're hovering at break-even or a slight downward slope, which is frustrating because you feel like you're doing everything right, but the numbers aren't moving. Your friends don't see you anymore. When you do go out, you can't stop talking about support and resistance or the impending macro collapse, and you see their eyes glaze over. Your YouTube watch later list is 400 videos deep. You spend your weekends backtesting data from 2018 instead of going to the beach. Your lifestyle is defined by a relentless, grinding curiosity. You've traded the dopamine of the trade for the dopamine of the aha moment. You're sleep deprived, not because you're watching the 1-minute chart, but because you're reading a 500-page book on candlestick patterns. For the first time, you actually have a journal. It's messy, and you skip days when you're embarrassed by your losses, but it exists. You're tracking your R multiple and your win rate. Your habits are becoming structured. You have a morning routine, you check the economic calendar for CPI data, and you're learning to walk away when your setup isn't there. However, your worst habit is strategy hopping. The moment you hit a 3-trade losing streak, you scrap your entire system and go looking for a new one. You're a professional beginner, starting over every 2 weeks. Your identity is no longer the guy who might get rich. It's the student of the game. You take pride in your knowledge. You can explain the Greeks of an option contract or the difference between a Head and Shoulders and a Wyckoff accumulation phase. But this identity is a trap. You've fallen in love with the process of learning because it feels safer than the reality of trading. As long as you're learning, you don't have to admit that you're still not profitable. You are hiding behind your books and your monitors. Your confidence is a Dunning-Kruger nightmare. One day, you think you've cracked the code because you predicted a minor reversal, and your confidence soars to level 4 levels. The next day, a sudden news event wipes out your week's gains, and you feel like you know nothing at all. You are oscillating between I am a god of the markets and I am an idiot who should just buy index funds. To reach level 3, you have to stop trying to know everything and accept that you only need to know one thing deeply. You have to move from being a generalist to a specialist. Something strange has happened. You've stopped posting your wins on Instagram. You've stopped telling your friends about your huge plays. In fact, if someone asks how your trading is going, you usually just shrug and say, "It was a Monday." The fire and the fury of the first 2 levels have been replaced by a cold, mechanical efficiency. Welcome to level 3, the consistent trader. At this stage, you have achieved the rarest feat in the financial world. You have decoupled your self-worth from the P and L. Trading is no longer your passion. It is your profession. It's finally boring. And that's exactly why you're finally making money. Your mind is finally quiet. You realize that the market isn't a monster to be tamed or a puzzle to be solved. It's just a stream of data. When a trade hits your stop loss, you don't feel the pit in your stomach anymore. It's just the cost of doing business, like a restaurant paying for electricity. Your greatest psychological breakthrough was accepting that you can be wrong and still make money. You've stopped trying to predict the future and started reacting to the present. You no longer care about being right. You only care about being disciplined. The holy grail you spent years looking for in level 2 was finally found. But it wasn't an indicator. It was your own ability to sit on your hands and do nothing. The NASA Command Center has been dismantled. You realize that 6 monitors were just 6 ways to distract yourself. Now your setup is lean. You probably use 1 or 2 high-quality screens. Your charts are clean, almost empty. Maybe a single moving average or a volume profile, but mostly just raw price action. You've realized that the more stuff you have on your screen, the more excuses you have to take a bad trade. You have a dedicated, distraction-free office environment, and you treat it with the sanctity of a laboratory. For the first time in your life, your equity curve is moving up and to the right. It's not a vertical line. There are dips, but the dips are controlled. You've mastered the law of large numbers. You know that over 100 trades, your edge will play out. So you don't care about the outcome of any single trade. Your position sizing is mathematical. You risk exactly 1% or 0.5% per trade, and you never deviate. You've stopped thinking about how much you can make and started focusing exclusively on how much you could lose. Paradoxically, this obsession with risk is exactly what is making you wealthy. You're no longer betting, you're collecting. The most visible change in level 3 isn't your car, it's your schedule. You've realized that spending 12 hours a day in front of a screen actually makes you a worse trader. You've identified your power hours, maybe the first 2 hours of the New York Open, and once those are done, you close the laptop. You've reclaimed your life. You're back at the gym, you're present at dinner, and you sleep like a baby. You've stopped checking prices on your phone because you know your alerts will tell you if something matters. You have achieved time freedom before financial freedom. Your habits are now as predictable as a Swiss watch. You have a pre-market checklist that you follow every single day without exception. You journal every trade, but the journal has changed. You don't record your feelings anymore. You record your process errors. Did you hesitate? Did you chase? Did you exit early? Your review session on Friday afternoon is the most important part of your week. You treat your body like an athlete's, understanding that a brain foggy from bad food or lack of sleep is a brain that loses money. You are a creature of habit because you know that consistency in your life leads to consistency in your bank account. Your identity is the specialist. You are no longer a Forex trader or a crypto enthusiast. You are a mean reversion trader or a breakout specialist. You have 1 or 2 setups that you know better than anyone else on earth. If the market doesn't provide those specific setups, you simply don't trade. You've found peace in saying, I don't know, to 95% of the market's movements. You are no longer a hunter chasing everything that moves. You are an assassin waiting for one specific target. Your confidence is no longer fragile because it's built on a mountain of data. You've backtested your strategy through bull markets, bear markets, and sideways markets. You know it works. This isn't the loud, arrogant confidence of level 1. It's a quiet, internal certainty. Even when you're on a 5-trade losing streak, you're smiling because you know your big win is statistically around the corner. You have finally conquered the greatest enemy in trading, yourself. You are ready for the big leagues. To move to level 4, you just have to do exactly what you're doing now, but with an extra 0 on the end of your trades. The transition from level 3 to level 4 isn't about learning a new indicator. It's about a total shift in the scale of your thinking. You've stopped thinking about the trade and started thinking about the enterprise. Welcome to level 4, the professional. At this stage, you aren't just a person clicking buttons. You are a high net worth entity. Your account has grown to a size where your daily fluctuations are larger than your old annual salary. You have moved from the world of making money into the world of managing capital. The adrenaline of the gamble is a distant memory, but so is the boredom of the consistent trader. It has been replaced by a heavy sense of responsibility. You are now the manager. Your psychology is defined by detachment. When you see a $20,000 drawdown in a single afternoon, you don't flinch. Not because you're a sociopath, but because you understand the math of volatility. You've achieved emotional neutrality. Your biggest psychological battle now isn't fear or greed. It's the pressure of scale. You have to execute the same discipline you had with a $10,000 account, but now with a $2 million or $10 million account. You've realized that the biggest risk to your wealth isn't the market, it's your own ego. Your setup is no longer about seeing more or seeing less. It's about reliability and speed. You have redundant internet lines, a backup power supply, and professional-grade data feeds. You might be using institutional-grade software like Bloomberg or specialized execution platforms. Your physical environment is designed for deep work. It's ergonomic, soundproof, and optimized for peak cognitive performance. You don't have distractions because a single mistake at this level costs more than a luxury car. You view your setup as an industrial machine that must be maintained with 99.9% uptime. In level 4, your relationship with money changes forever. You no longer view your balance as spending money. It is dry powder. You've stopped thinking in dollars and started thinking in risk units and correlation. You don't just ask, will this stock go up? You ask, how does this position correlate with my existing exposure in semiconductors and energy? You are managing a portfolio, not just a list of trades. You have diversified your income streams. Your trading profits are being funneled into real estate, private equity, or tax-advantaged bonds. You are no longer trying to double your account. You are trying to compound it while minimizing drawdown. From the outside, you look remarkably normal. You've moved past the need to look rich for social media. Your lifestyle is high quality but low profile. You value health and longevity above all else because you realize that your brain is your primary income producing asset. You have a team, perhaps a tax strategist, a specialized CPA, or a personal assistant to handle the noise of life so you can focus on the signals. You travel not to show off, but to reset your perspective. Your wealth is invisible. It's in the lack of stress, the quality of your time, and the freedom to say no to anything that doesn't align with your goals. Your habits are now indistinguishable from those of a professional athlete. You track your sleep cycles, your nutrition, and your cognitive load. You know that trading is 90% mental, so you protect your mental state fiercely. Your daily routine includes rigorous post-trade analysis, not just of what you did, but of what the market offered that you didn't take. You read white papers, listen to earnings calls, and stay ahead of the macroeconomic curve. You have a process audit every month where you look for alpha decay in your strategies. You are constantly evolving because you know that at this level, if you stand still, you get eaten. Your identity has shifted from trader to capital allocator. You see yourself as the CEO of your own private hedge fund. You don't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. You find more satisfaction in a perfectly executed trade that followed every rule than in a lucky win that broke them. You identify with the greats, Dalio, Tudor Jones, Druckenmiller. You are part of the 1% of the 1% who didn't just find a lucky break, but built a sustainable, scalable business out of the chaos of the markets. Confidence is now an unshakable pillar. It's not based on your last trade or even your last year. It's based on the fact that you have a proven, repeatable system for extracting wealth from uncertainty. You have market wisdom. You've seen the cycles repeat enough times that nothing surprises you. You've survived black swan events and come out stronger. You have the confidence to take a massive loss and keep going, and the confidence to stay humble during a massive win. You are ready for the final evolution, level 5, where you stop playing the game and start designing it. You are no longer looking at the scoreboard. You have become the owner of the stadium. At this final stage, the flashing lights of the ticker tape and the frantic energy of the trading floor have faded into a distant, quiet hum. You have reached the summit. Welcome to level 5, the wealth architect. At this level, you don't just trade the market, you influence the world. You have moved beyond the professional stage of managing capital into the architectural stage of building a legacy. Your net worth has reached a point where money is no longer a tool for survival or status. It is a tool for systemic change. The psychology of a wealth architect is defined by total detachment. You are no longer concerned with weeks, months, or even fiscal years. You think in decades and generations. You have reached a state of financial enlightenment where the fear of loss has been replaced by the responsibility of stewardship. You view the global economy as a complex, interconnected machine, and you see your role as an engineer who moves the levers. Your emotional state is a flat line. Whether the market crashes 30% or rallies to all-time highs, you remain unmoved. You understand that volatility is merely the price of entry for the massive structural gains that the 0.1% enjoy. You are the calmest person in every room because you already know how the story ends. Your setup isn't a desk or a monitor, it's a network. Your terminal is no longer just for charts, it's for direct communication with the brightest minds on the planet. Your command center is a private office in a quiet location, but your real tools are the relationships you hold. You have direct lines to CEOs, policymakers, and specialized analysts who provide you with boots-on-the-ground intelligence. Your tech setup is invisible, integrated into your life through high-security, private servers, and encrypted communication. You aren't staring at candles. You are reading geopolitical shifts and technological breakthroughs before they hit the headlines. Your setup is designed for one thing: clarity of thought. At level 5, money is no longer currency, it is energy. You have achieved what is known as sovereign wealth. You are your own bank. Your capital is distributed across a massive, impenetrable fortress of assets: private equity, whole companies, vast tracts of land, and foundational infrastructure. You are no longer trading for a living. Your money creates its own gravity. You invest in things that the average person can't even access. You provide the liquidity that allows the rest of the market to function. When you move, the market feels the wake. You are no longer trying to win against the market. You are the market. Your lifestyle is a masterpiece of curation. You have eliminated everything that doesn't serve your purpose or your peace. You don't work in the traditional sense. You contribute. You might spend your morning discussing a new renewable energy project and your afternoon reading philosophy. You value privacy above all else. True wealth is the ability to be completely anonymous while having total influence. You have staff to manage every friction point of existence, from travel on private wings to your daily health regimen. Your life is characterized by high-level simplicity. You have bought back every second of your time. Your habits have shifted from technical execution to macro synthesis. You spend 80% of your day reading and thinking. You aren't looking for trade setups. You're looking for the next big thing that will define the next 20 years. You practice extreme mental discipline, often engaging in long periods of silence or meditation to keep your judgment sharp. Your habits are focused on legacy building, writing, mentoring, and philanthropy. You track impact rather than yield. You are a student of history, knowing that the patterns of the past are the only true map of the future. Your identity is the architect. You see yourself as a builder of systems that will outlive you. You aren't Natalie the trader. You are Natalie the visionary. Your name is associated with foundations, endowments, and the growth of industries. You find fulfillment in seeing your capital solve problems, whether that's funding a medical breakthrough or revitalizing an entire sector of the economy. You are the invisible hand that Adam Smith wrote about. You have achieved the ultimate human goal. You have used the financial markets to transcend the need for the financial markets. Your confidence is no longer a feeling, it is a fact. It is the confidence of a person who has conquered every level of the game and now plays for the sake of the play itself. You don't need to speak to be heard. Your track record and your presence speak for you. You have a profound sense of peace because you know that no matter what happens to the world, you have the skills, the network, and the mindset to rebuild. You have mastered the art of being in the market, but not of it. The journey from gambler to wealth architect is not a straight line. It is a grueling psychological transformation that kills who you are to birth who you can become. Most people will say at level 1, chasing ghosts and losing their shirts. A few will grind through level 2 and find the quiet discipline of level 3. But only the obsessed, the ones who value truth over ego and process over profit, will ever see the view from level 5. The question isn't whether the market will give you money. The question is, who do you have to become to handle it? Most people will watch this video, feel a temporary spark of motivation, and then go right back to gambling their rent money on a hunch. Don't be most people. If you are ready to stop being the liquidity and start being the architect, the transition starts today. Not with a trade, but with your mind. Subscribe right now to join a community that values the math over the myth and the legacy over the luck. The road to level 5 is open, but the gate only unlocks for those who take the first step. Comment architect below if you are committing to the climb. Your future self is waiting. Don't keep them waiting any longer. Let's build.